Hey there! If you're new to my channel, my name is Claire Hawkins. I'm a singer-songwriter and travel vlogger, and lately I've been starting to use the term digital nomad a little bit more. Now that travel is starting to be a real possibility again, I've really been enjoying getting back on the road. I feel so grateful that that is an option for me and that it's an option again after so long when it was not. I recently spent a week in Austin, Texas. I was visiting a friend, but I was also kind of scoping out the local scene. I was working the whole time that I was there, so I was very curious to see what is it really like for digital nomads who want to spend some time in Austin. I've compiled a list of my favorite places where I was able to get some work done while in Austin, and I've put them together in this video for you so that if you're in Austin and you need to get some work done, you know where to go. The first place that I went was a place called Mozart's Coffee Roasters. If you're like me and this is your first trip to Austin, then you might need fair warning. It is hot there. It is so hot that any place that you go to get work done, you have to make sure it either has really strong air conditioning or an outdoor space with a nice breeze. Mozart's Coffee Roasters is great because it has both. The outdoor space at Mozart's Coffee Roasters is what makes it such a cool coffee shop. It's really big, it has 2 floors, lots of trees, and it's right on the water, so it's beautiful. In terms of Wi-Fi, I had no problems here. Even being outside, I was sitting farther away from the door and it was still fine. The outlet situation might be a little bit tricky for some people if it's super crowded. Indoors, there were plenty of outlets. Outdoors, the outlets were only right up against the wall, so take that into account as you're picking your seat. I sat outside for a while when I first got there, and then I ended up moving indoors, partly because I needed to plug in my computer, but also I was just not prepared for the Texas heat and I needed the AC. One other thing about Mozart's that I really loved is how extensive the menu is. They have all kinds of food, and I think they even have a bottomless coffee option, so if you're someone who needs to be constantly caffeinated, they got you covered. The next place that I went to get some work done was the Austin Public Library. Now, if you're someone who really needs a quiet workspace, you gotta focus, you need no music playing, no loud chattering, this is the place to go in Austin. Also, it's free. They actually do have a coffee shop in the lobby where you can grab a drink on your way in. I stupidly didn't notice that until I was leaving, so I did not get to try their coffee, but it's there. One of the great things about the public library is that it's huge. So there's so much seating, there's a ton of different floors, and they even have a roof garden, which is so cool. Now, once again, I am a wimp with Texas heat, so I was not prepared for the roof garden. I needed to be in the AC, but it's an option. The roof garden looked really cool. I did walk through it. There's a bunch of trees, so there is shade, which is very important. And because the public library is currently requiring that everyone indoors wears a mask, you have that option if you want to sit outdoors. I think you can take off your mask then. Not only does the library have a lot of seating, they also have a lot of different seating options. So if you want to be, sitting up straight at a table, you have that option. If you want to kind of lounge in a comfy chair like I did, you can do that. They also have public computers there. I don't know how borrowing them works because I had my own computer, so you might have to have a library card with them, but that is something to look into if, God forbid you have some computer issues while you're in Austin. In terms of Wi-Fi and outlets, 2 very important things for us remote workers. The Wi-Fi was great, and I don't know about outdoors because like I said, I worked inside, but there were plenty of spaces next to outlets. Generally speaking, if you're someone who needs peace and quiet, the Austin Public Library is the place to go. I really loved the next place I went. It is a coffee shop / cafe kind of restaurant called Cenote. As is true of a lot of the options in Austin, Cenote has a really nice outdoor space as well as an indoor space that is air conditioned. And it is so well air conditioned that I was almost cold. Almost. The staff were really kind and also really funny. I had a whole conversation with a guy who worked there about whether or not anyone is actually from Florida. Anyway, the Wi-Fi was great. I had no problem finding an outlet, and oh my goodness, the food. I had the most delicious breakfast burrito when I was at Cenote. So if you're going there to get work done, make sure you come hungry and get the chorizo breakfast burrito because, oh my God, I miss it. I really liked that the vibe at Cenote was chatty and social. It wasn't distracting and the music was not too loud or anything, but there were definitely people there just to have brunch, to meet a friend for coffee. So if you are in Austin with another remote worker, maybe that's a good place to go for co-working. The coffee was great too, and I saw a sign there that said that if you're getting house coffee, refills are only $1, which I think is really nice because it means that they're encouraging people to stay longer if you have a lot of work to get done. but you're also still paying for the time, and obviously $1 a coffee is extremely cheap. I just thought that was a really nice way to set it up, so digital nomads are welcome to keep working here, but also you can, you know, pay for your time in a way that is very affordable, but also fair to the cafe if you're taking one of their tables. So if you're looking for a place with strong Wi-Fi, very good food, cheap refills on coffee, and a social chatty vibe, head to Cenote. Another coffee shop that I worked from is called Medici Roasting. There's a few locations for this one, but I was at the one in East Austin. It does have both indoor and outdoor seating, but I found that the outdoor seating was not quite as cozy as maybe some other coffee shops, just because it is in this complex, so you're like kind of in a parking lot. That said, the indoor space was really cool. It had a few different options of couches and comfy chairs, had really tall ceilings and some nice plants that just gave it a kind of living room type of vibe that I really liked. The staff were really nice, the Wi-Fi was strong, and if you're sitting indoors, there's a pretty good distribution of outlets, so I didn't have a problem. Unlike a lot of the other spots that I've been to in Austin, the music there was actually more on the techno side instead of folk Americana, which is good if you get distracted by lyrics and you want just beats. The last place that I'm going to recommend is a very special one. It is not a cafe, it is not a library. It is a super cool co-working space, music venue, event space, art gallery called the Cathedral. I was so honored that the lovely people at the Cathedral invited me to come by and get some work done so that I could really experience it for myself, learn more about the space, and then tell all of you about it. As the name suggests, the Cathedral used to be a church. Obviously, it is no longer a church, but they do still host weddings, I think, which is super cool. The space is designed really well, so it feels comfy and cozy like a living room, but also has seating options for those that need to be a little more zeroed in and focused. At the Cathedral, you have a few different options. If you're staying in Austin long term, you can get a membership, and that means you can go anytime you want for however long, or you can get day passes if you're just in town for a couple days and you know that that's a place where you want to hunker down and get stuff done. I recommend that. If you're an artist, you can also rent out one of their studios. So the first floor is the co-working space, and on the second floor, they have all these really beautiful studios that you can work from. A very nice bonus is that coffee and tea and snacks are all included. So I had a nice cup of tea while I was getting my work done. I was very excited about that. Because the Cathedral is a designated co-working space, it gives you an extra guarantee that sometimes a cafe might not offer you. So you know the Wi-Fi is going to be good. You know that people are allowed to work there. You don't have to worry about overstaying. You're welcome. And because there are other people working there, you have the option to make some other digital nomad friends. I think it's awesome that because the Cathedral has so many different events going on, you could make some friends during the workday and then hang out at the events together in the evening. I really loved that the Cathedral is a woman-owned business that's really focused on community and inclusion, because as a digital nomad, you don't necessarily have that guarantee that there's going to be an inclusive community everywhere you go. So it's really nice that that's a big part of their goal. That is it. Those are 5 of my top recommendations of places to get work done when you're visiting Austin. I think that Austin is actually a great city for digital nomads, unlike some other places where I've been where working at cafes is a little not super welcome. Every cafe I went to in Austin does have at least 1 or 2 people on their laptops. So of course it's always good to ask the people first before you just open up your laptop and take over a table. But I think generally Austin is really encouraging of that, which is really great for people like me who are on the road and need to find places to work. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was helpful. Please leave me a comment, let me know, have you been to Austin? Are there any important places that I missed? I'm definitely planning on going back at some point, so I would love to check out your recommendations. If you haven't subscribed, I hope you will. I have some very exciting videos coming soon, and I can't wait to share.